The Justice League cast all got fired. Wait, the Justice League cast? Well, it's rehired and recasted. Recast? Whatever, I don't know. A Marvel director talked crap about Zack Snyder. DC is being sold to Universal. Holy crap, people. Just what in the hell is going on over at the world of WB/DC? For the longest time, there was barely a nugget to talk about in this world. Now, all of a sudden, it's blowing up, blowing up, blowing up. Let's talk about this. Welcome to the Sox Rocker Show. Well, what a difference a couple of days make. It wasn't too long ago when I was doing my very first DC recap talking about the things that have happened in DC the last week or so. And now look. Supposedly, the DCU Justice League cast, the entire cast, Cavill, Affleck, Godot, all of them, they were all fired, and now there's rumors going around that, well, maybe they haven't really been fired at all and they're just going to be recast. Recast is different characters within the DCU. Man, oh man. And then we have Mohamed Diab, the former director of Moon Knight, Moonwing, or whatever the heck that show was over at Disney, /MCU. He's been bagging on Zack Snyder. There's no other way to dissect it. He stated, and I quote, "Now I know that some people don't like James Gunn. Well, I'm one of them. But I see him as a great artist who will do great work. Frankly, I didn't like the last period. The last film, Zack Snyder's Justice League, was significantly better than the first version. That would be the Justice League version. But in the end, Snyder's work and all the movies he made, well, they just didn't appeal to me." And he goes on to say, "I think he being Jimmy Gunn, is a much greater artist and a very clever writer, and he will do excellent work for DC. Now, I hope people won't just criticize him, because if he loses the DC audience, well, he's done." You think? But he is an artist, and he will create wonderful things. Yes, sir. He was buttering up old Jimmy Gunn himself right between the cheeks. It seems like he's trying to get a job from him, and in doing so, bashing Zack Snyder and his talent and his movies and the way he goes about directing those movies. Now, I might be wrong here, and I'm no director by any means, but for another director to outright badmouth another director in this world, well, it's just not very smart, especially when we're all trying to get, a slice of the pie, a cut of the cake, whatever, or however you want to put it. It's just rude, crude, and unacceptable, dude. And now for the piece de resistance, that big rumor, the Holy Grail. Somewhere along the way, we don't know who, somebody heard via somebody else, via someplace, in somebody's ear, in somebody's parking lot, in somebody's bathroom, in somebody's gas station, maybe in somebody's fast food restaurant, in somebody's drive-through, who the hell knows. It seems that Universal is going to be buying WB/DC sometime in the next year and a half to 2 years. Now, I don't know how in the hell anybody knows this. I don't know personally. I don't see WB in that big of a hurry to sell right now, because they're already some $50 billion in the hole, and I mean, the only place they really have to go is up. And let's not forget that it wasn't all that long ago when somebody whispered in somebody's ear, maybe in a parking lot somewhere, in a gas station somewhere, in a fast food restaurant somewhere, in a drive-through somewhere, maybe in a car wash somewhere, who the hell knows, that the Snyderverse itself was being sold to Netflix. And the whole world went crazy. Batshit crazy, I might say. The internet went crazy, blah, 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 blah. You catching my drift here, people? Rumors. They were rumors. Yes, rumors. Rumors is a great album, by the way. Fleetwood Mac, one of my favorite bands. Now, is this true? I don't know. It'd be cool if it was, because I really don't think WB gives a damn about DC. Otherwise, they wouldn't have hired Jimmy Gunn in the first place. At least in my opinion, because let's face it, he hasn't done that great of a job so far. I know there's a whole lot of people out there that think that his movies move mountains and he walks on water, but so far the decisions that he's made, well, they've been crap. Now, many people believe that he had nothing to do with how The Flash turned out. Rubbish. There are some that think he had nothing to do with the Blue Beetle getting absolutely no hype. No advertising. None whatsoever. Baloney. Some even think that he had nothing to do with the Henry Cavill debacle. Dude, give me a break. And there will be some that believe, if and when Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom vanishes into the great DC abyss, that he has absolutely nothing to do with that also. You might as well roll another blunt, homie, because you're delusional. The dude has been calling all the shots since day one. He is a control freak, and it's as plain as the S on Superman's chest. I think he has an agenda. It has nothing to do with saving DC, but rather recreating it in his own egotistical image. No real DC fan wants to see Creature Commandos. Not first, anyway. Most don't even know what the hell they are. No one wants to see the DC version of Guardians of the Galaxy via Gunn's horrible version of Suicide Squad. They want to see Superman. They want to see Batman. They want to see the Justice League as it was meant to be. They want to see the Holy Trinity back. They want to see the freaking Green Lantern. They want to see Darkseid readying his freaking armada. And they want to see these guys stomp the ever-loving crap out of them. They don't want to see some wimpy Clark Kent Superman hybrid who's in touch with his softer side, saving cats from trees while Lois shows him a thing or two about who's really in charge. Now, I know people, they praise Gunn, I get it. He made a great movie in Guardians of the Galaxy, and as far as I'm concerned, 2 mediocre ones with 2 and 3. He produced Brightburn, a what if Clark Kent turned out evil and started to kill people kind of thing. I find that ironic considering the people that don't like Snyder's version of Superman, they said he was too violent. But anyway, he wrote the screenplay for Scooby Freaking Doo. He directed Slither, some flick about giant mutant slug things, and he had his hands in some other things that really are not all that well known. And I may get flamed for saying this, and please forgive me if I piss people off here, but just what in the hell makes him the chosen one to save DC anyway? When it seems that all he wants to do, well, is rearrange it into something that looks nothing like DC, what really are his qualifications? I may be missing something here, but I ain't seeing it. Okay then, Sox, you might say. Yeah, enough rambling, I guess. And I apologize if I came off a bit crass, but well, when I see crass, I tend to return crass. And believe it or not, I do care about DC and what happens to it, so please excuse me if I get a bit passionate about it and what we just might eventually end up with when all of this comes to fruition, or rather if it even does. And so, my friends, how do you feel about the latest and the greatest he said, she said about WB/DC? Will it be sold to Universal? I mean, I have no doubts that it will eventually be handed off to someone because WB just ain't getting it done. And if not Universal, then who? How do you feel about everyone being dumped And if not dumped, simply just reassigned. Personally, I don't see Cavill ever coming back to DC as long as Gunn and Zaslav are around after what he went through. And Affleck has been quoted himself as saying he will not work for James Gunn. I mean, one of the original cast has been treated very well at all. I mean, none of the original cast has been treated very well. And so why would they stick around and be simply recast? Well, I take that back. I can see Momoa sticking around. Remember his maestro babble months ago when he heard that he might be Limbo? He was freaking the hell out. Sketchy. And finally, tell me, how do you feel about Mohamed Diab basically calling Snyder's work non-appealing? Well, I think we're in for a very interesting ride with DC over the course of the next year. And so I'm not entirely convinced that everything Gunn has been yammering about, well, it'll ever see the light of day. The actors' strike is still showing no sign of being over. Well, if it's true that DC is in fact up for sale and Universal may want to take a stab at it, Jimmy Gunn just might have his plans changed for him. So please tell me, how do you feel down below? And if you would, please subscribe and hit that like button so we can keep this thing going. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by, and God bless, and until next time, socks out.